Okay.
I guess my first question for you, Koy, is how long have you been doing UGC content? When did you start? And how long has it been?
Yeah, so I was looking actually last night kind of back at what my process has looked like. And I think the first time I started applying for jobs was the end of January, and I got my first hire for my first job for I think it was $150 in the middle of February. Um,
Okay.
so it was, yeah, my first job was middle of February after about probably 4 to 5 weeks of just kind of getting through the process of getting my portfolio built and then applying on various platforms.
Okay. Sweet. So end of January, you started applying. We're essentially in June. So I would say 5 months.
Yeah, yeah, close to
Okay.
5 months.
Sweet. And what are you doing for, your full-time gig? Are you working corporate America? Like
Yeah.
what's your full-time? Because obviously it's not content, but you're using
Mhm.
content to supplement that income.
Yeah, so my full-time job is I'm a full-time firefighter paramedic for Provo. Been there for almost 8 years, so about 7.5 years there. And then I did 3 years prior to that, so I'm coming up on about 10 years of doing that. And then yeah, I just kind of I do that full time. So I do 48-hour shifts every week. So I run a 2 day on and then 4 days off. Up until getting into content, I was just kind of grinding with whatever side jobs I could kind of figure out and hustle with, whether it was putting up Christmas lights, washing windows, really anything that I could come up with to make some extra money, I would do on my days off. But yeah, I've been
Okay.
full-time firefighter paramedic for almost 8 years now.
Okay, dang, that's incredible. What would you say was the biggest hesitation? Obviously, firefighting for 8 years, any side hustles to, essentially bring in any additional income. What was your biggest hesitation to wanting to start content?
Honestly, probably just it sounds so silly, but almost just being embarrassed to get going on it. It sounded funny, and it didn't seem like it was really anything that I would be good at. I don't have a huge social media following. I don't post a lot. Um, the cool part about it is I kind of watched your journey with it for the last couple of years and just kind of kept my eye on it. And then I was like, I wonder if that really works. Eventually, I reached out and then I started applying and said, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I don't have very many followers, so nobody's going to see anything if I post anything, first of all. And then,
Yeah,
second of all, if it really does work and I can make extra money, I'm at no loss if I don't. There
yeah.
wasn't really anything. It was either it worked or it didn't. But my life either continued how it was or I made some gains financially and gained a lot of time back with that as well.
Okay, dang, that's incredible. So the biggest fear was just fear of being on the camera, fear of people seeing
Yeah.
the videos that you were making, and they're like, all
Yeah.
right, that's kind of cringe, Coy, but I
Yeah,
guess if
yeah.
that's what
Honestly,
you like to do.
it sounds so silly, but it was that because it's not really my personality.
Yeah,
It still isn't, but I've overcome that already a little bit, just being able to post, and I'm getting a lot better at making content already.
yeah.
Getting paid, so something's working as far as getting paid. With whatever I'm doing is working. Obviously, I have a long ways to go, but I'm still at the very beginning of this journey.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the coolest part about just content in general. Everyone might think it's cringe. And the cool thing about it is they don't know the kind of money you're making, whether it's $150 for 15 to 30 minutes of your time or, 3 grand in a month because you're posting these random videos or even shooting them. And people are like, all right, like you really can't be making that kind of money with these like random awkward videos. But brands are making money off of your content. So they're obviously paying you. And I tell people it's only cringe until you start making money. And then at that point you're like, I could care less. Like if this is giving
Yeah.
me and my family the opportunity to go on more trips, to put my kids in extracurriculars, then I'll be cringe for everyone else that thinks I'm cringe, except for the, four people for yourself, your wife and 2 kids, me, my wife and 3 kids. Like it's cringe until you're making money and people are like, how are you going on all these trips? You're like, remember that cringe thing 12 months ago that you thought was cringe? Well, yeah, I'm making decent money from it. So think it's cringe all you want, but then you're making money. So
Exactly.
my next question would be, what has been your biggest month as a, content creator?
So like I said, I was looking back at it and kind of adding up what I've done because I had a feeling that we would probably discuss that. My
Yeah.
biggest month was, let me think here. It was April,
Okay.
and I did almost $1,700, and that was with hardly. I think I had 10 videos, but half of the videos were like maybe 30 minutes to shoot and
I'm
then
bored.
15 minutes to edit. And then I had a couple other jobs that took me a little bit longer just because they needed more done. But yeah, I think it was just shy of $1,700 that month. Then I started a training, which kind of slowed my motivation, or not my motivation, but slowed down kind of my momentum. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, that was my biggest month. And for me, that was fantastic because that was more than I could have made working 2 extra days, complete days, 24-hour shifts at the fire department to make almost that amount of money. And it was like, okay, I did it in, let's just say 4 or 5 hours. I made
Yeah.
that amount of money. So it honestly is a no-brainer. I don't know why, or I do know why, but I wish I would have got into this a lot sooner.
Okay. So the reason why I asked that question is because people are like, all right, how much money can you make? You see lots of people doing, 3, 5, 7, 10K months. Well, great. Maybe they're dedicating all their time to content, or maybe they're shooting 2 to 3 pieces of content every single day. But when I hear someone made, 1,000, 1,500, 1,700, $2,000 in a month, I essentially boil it down to great, you made $1,700. Let's say that was over 10 videos. You, on average, shot one video that took an hour every single time from scripting it, shooting it, editing it, and being done 1 hour. So you're essentially
Yeah.
making $170 an hour and you only work 10 hours in a month extra.
Yeah.
And there's 4 weeks in a month. So let's say you were working 2.5 hours every single week to make an extra $500, technically.
Yeah.
455, I think. So I
Makes
don't
sense.
know anywhere else you can go make that kind of money from your home while, putting kids down for nap, picking kids up from school. It's very much on your own time frame. So $1,700 is huge. What is your goal? Obviously, we're moving into June. What's your goal for the month of June?
So I already have lined up if everything goes through. I've already got $1,200 lined up for the month of June. So
Okay.
that is I shot a video yesterday. They actually reached out to me, not yet, the day before yesterday, and said,
Hmm.
"Hey, I need 3 videos back in 24 hours." And I said, "Well, I don't typically get it back that quick." I woke up at 5:30 that next morning, shot the content. It was all raw footage, which made it super easy. Sent it over. Um, they approved it today, so $300 right there, just that I didn't even know about coming in yesterday. And then a couple other jobs, one that I'll be shooting on a vacation that's coming up for
Okay.
$280. But yeah, I think my goal for this next month, if I could break 2,000, I would be pretty happy with that. And then only
Okay.
going up from there, hopefully.
Okay, I love that. And I think the fact that you've been doing this for 5 months is, people say, hey, go make 10, 15, $20,000 a month, quit your 9 to 5. It's definitely something that I preach. Like, why
Hmm.
reduce or remove an income stream if you can just add on top of it? I tell people if you can make 2 grand extra every single month with 10 hours of work, shooting 10 videos each at $200 a video, that's an extra $24,000 in a year. I mean, that pays down debt, that's vacations, that's schooling, that's, getting your wife out of work. If you can pay your wife, $15,000 a year and you still have another, what is that, $8,000 left over for expenses, whatever it is, that's good money. And so what I
Yeah.
try and tell people is you might see on social media, hey, everyone's doing 5-figure months every month. Now, that's people that do this full time as a career and they think, oh, I'm only shooting 1 hour a day. Technically, you're not. You're applying for an hour, you're shooting for 1 to 2 hours, then you're editing for 1 to 2 hours. Well, that's essentially a part-time job, 4 hours a day. So
Yeah.
exactly what you did, I think, is what most people can do. 2 to 5K every single month as you either increase the amount of content that you put out or you increase the rate that you're shooting content at. You can definitely go do, 3, 4, 5K every single month. So what would you say has been the biggest challenge or struggle when it comes to shooting content or starting your own UGC journey?
Biggest struggle, I think honestly, just still, I got so caught up. I mean, like I said, almost 8 years as a firefighter paramedic full time. I really enjoy my days off, which sounds funny, but even just peeling away for an hour or 2 hours in the middle of the day now that it's summer when I've got my 7.5-year-old daughter that wants to go play, which I'm all about. It's like, hey, I got to go shoot this content because I got to get back. It's not really the hardest thing is just actually sitting down and doing it. I know it's not going to take very long, and I know that it's worth the money because I go shoot for an hour and I make $200-300, but it's just getting myself to go get the content done has been probably the hardest thing. It's not, and I know it's going to be great. I know I'm going to make money on it, but just convincing myself that I'm going to because it's such a shocking thing to see it actually work that it's like, ah, well, I don't have to go shoot this today. But if I do, I make $300 today and I only made my daughter wait for an hour and now I got the whole rest of the day. So that's kind of what it is for me. It's just getting myself to sit down and say, okay, I either need to wake up at 5:30 and shoot content before kids are out of bed, or just find an hour in the afternoon and do it. That's it. It's really not, there's not that much things that are that hard about it. It's just really just convincing myself that let's go make a few $100s today.
Yeah,
But
I would say a quote that I try and think about all the time when it comes to content. It's easy to do it. It's just easier not to do it. Like,
yeah,
okay, great. I have 7 days to turn this in, but if I can go take 1 hour, shoot the content, and know I'm done, then I just know that I have the rest of the week or the rest of the day to spend it with family, friends, whatever. And then obviously time management. So, um, as far as the last question, what has been your experience personally working with me? When it comes to coaching, when it comes to availability and kind of your overall experience, because I know you said you followed me for like 12 months as I kind of went through this journey and kind of like, hey, I'm interested. Hey, not yet. Hey, I'm interested. And then you finally pulled the trigger. What has been your personal experience, Koy, in working with me one on one as a coach, mentor to, help you with your UGC journey?
I honestly have nothing but good things to say. In fact, I tell people all the time, I'm like, you got to talk to Brenton because he's going to help you create that profile that you need. He's going to help you get to the point. Like, I think I was creating 2 or 3 videos before I ever submitted anything to a platform and ran it past you a couple different times just to make sure that it was that what brands wanted to see. Can you go sit down and do this on your own? I absolutely think you can. And I'm pretty sure that might have been what you did. I don't know. But yes, you can. But if you want to speed up the process of time management, like you mentioned, to making money on it and making it worth your time and money and getting money for it, you're the guy. I mean, I've reached out to you a lot. I've reached out to other members of the community that have been able to answer other questions, whether they're like newer into it or whatnot. But I 100% recommend this. In fact, I wish more people would do it because they do reach out to me all the time, like, "Hey, what are you doing to make $300?" And I'm like, "Dude, I jump roped for 15 minutes or whatever," right? Like I
Yeah.
laughed at that one because it turned into almost $1,000 and it was literally less than 2 hours worth of work. Broken up obviously over a few different weeks, but it was like, oh, you want another jump roping video? Sure, I'll go do it. That took me 15 minutes. Um, and so I tell people that I'm like, go reach out to Brenton, get into the community. I've had a few people be like, do it, be interested in. But yeah, I mean, I would recommend it. I'm working on my wife right now because, if I can make $2,000 a month and she can make $2,000 a month, then we essentially just more than doubled what she was making if she was working full time. So that's my biggest motivator is not only make money for myself, but if my wife doesn't want to go work, she works as a nurse in the ER, works one day a week, 12-hour shift. I'm like, you can in 12 hours, you can do 12 hours a month and make more than you're making into ER. But like you said, like if she can still do that, bring in $2,000 and then bring in $2,000 on doing UGC, and I bring in another 2,000, like $4,000, $6,000 between like her and I, plus my full time job. Now we're
$7,200 a year.
yeah, now we're cranking on that, and it's like let's go, let's keep making money and make finances not such a stressful thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm right. So that's all my questions for you. I appreciate you answering these questions and just talking about your own journey and working with me one on one. But I love seeing you, earn money through content and hit some of these goals. And the coolest part for me is seeing you book a anniversary trip, 10-year
yeah,
anniversary, all paid for through content. So
that was not expected. I booked the trip well before I was making any money on this, and then the money came, so made it easy.
okay. Well, Koy, I appreciate you taking a couple moments. I know you're with the in-laws. Thanks for taking a couple moments. And yeah, I'll be posting this on YouTube, tagging you, and hopefully we can continue to work together and only grow that $1,700 to consistent $1,700 every 2 weeks or every week.
I love that. Thanks, Brenton.
Of course, man. Have a great Sunday, and we'll see you in the community.
Okay, see ya.
Peace.